Guys, all right, today is the 13th. We are in the yellow boxes for Wednesday. So today for math, let me get my book out. We looked at page, we actually started on 362. So that is in volume 1. And the question we worked on this morning, we looked at this question right here. Let me cover up the answer first. We can do it together. All right, so it's Reggie, and he's got this number 9 right here on 362. So Reggie has 192 pictures of animals. He wants to keep half, and then he wants to divide the rest equally among 3 friends. How many pictures will each friend get? So, let me get some paper here. Let's look at this problem. So we have Reggie, and Reggie has a total of 192 pictures. Okay, so that's his total. Then we know that he's going to take half of them and he's going to keep them. So this half right here, he's going to keep. This other half, he's going to take it, and it says he's going to, pull this up, he's going to divide the rest equally among 3 friends. Well, the rest that he has is all this part here, and he's going to take that amount and he's going to give 1 to one friend, the same amount to his second friend, and the same amount to his third friend. Well, I need to know how much this whole total is, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to figure out how much each friend gets. So I need to know what's inside that box. But in order to find out what's inside that box, I have to know how much this is so I can split it into 3. So the way that you find, if you're trying to find something like what half of something is, you divide it by 2. So we're going to take 192 and we're going to divide it by 2. We're going to make our box. And I know that if I have 2, here we're doing groups of 2, I cannot make any groups of 2 with 1, so that's 0 groups. 0 times 2 is 0. Subtract. I'm left with 1. I'm going to take this 1, I'm going to put it in front of my next number. That becomes 19. I know that 2, if I have 9 groups, then that's 18. That's as close as I can get without going over. 19 minus 18 is 1. The 1 that I have left over, I'm going to put in front of the next number. And I can make 6 groups of 2 with 12. 6 times 2 is 12. Subtract that, and there's no leftovers. So 96 represents how much each of those halves are. So looking back at my box, here's my 192. Here's half of it is 96. Now the other side I'm going to take is also 96, but I'm going to take this 96 and I have to split it 3 ways. So in order to do that, I need to divide again. So 96 divided by 3. I can make 3 groups of 3 with 9, because 3 times 3 is 9. And then I can make 2 groups of 3 with 6. 2 times 3 is 6, so there's no remainder. So each one of these little boxes, each friend is getting 32 of these photos. So 32 plus 32 plus 32 adds up to 96. So here when it says how many pictures will each friend get, right here, each friend is going to get 32 pictures. Okay. All right, so we did that one together, and then students went off and did some practice on their own in page 365. So on page 365, you're putting your responses here under math responses. And you're either picking the odd or the even. So if you pick odd, you're going to do this first set of numbers, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. If you pick even, you're going to do this first set, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So pick a set and fill that out. Then when you are done with that, I want everybody to get onto eSpark today. So make sure when you click eSpark, you click this link here and make sure you open it and log in with your Google account. Make sure you go to math and do the one that says math, not the one that says math assignments. I want to make sure everybody's done with their placement test. So make sure you click the one that just says math, and then later when we do reading, make sure you just click the one that says reading. And then later, once we've all finished the placement tests, then we'll get into the actual assignments. All right, so that was math. For reading today, we went to Seesaw. And we went down here to our whole group activities. All right, so you guys have been reading a historical fiction text in your for your independent work. And so we reviewed what that is. And I just asked that, as you're doing your independent work, that you're thinking about these characteristics of historical fiction. And then the other part that we're doing this week is talking about theme. So yesterday you guys were supposed to look at some different themes. So we kind of reviewed today. So theme is all, it's a lesson that the author is wanting you to learn. So today we started here on Wednesday, and we read this story about Amanda and her father. And her father has to go on a business trip, so he and her, the two of them, they get on a train and they go to New York because she's going to stay at her aunt's while her dad is on this business trip. And so it's all about how her and her aunt, they go shopping, and Amanda sees like New York is very different from the town that she grows up in. New York is busy, there's people all over the place, they're rushing around, there's just a lot of busyness that she's not used to. Then she goes shopping with her aunt, and they walk into the store, and she has a little bit of a change because she realizes that in the store there's a lot of the same things that the store at her own, in her own town, they have a lot of the same stuff. And so she realizes that they have a lot of things in common. And so then after, so she gets a little bit more comfortable. So then she says right here, she thought for the first time New York wasn't such a strange place after all. And so then Amanda realizes that she starts kind of like missing her, like the busyness and all of that gets too much, and she starts missing her own hometown. And so she says, after a week of all the busyness, she found that she was ready to go home to her quiet little town, and she decided that she liked it best. So we read that story. And then this is what we did on page 10. So we summarized the story. So Amanda and her father take a train ride to New York to see her aunt because her father had to go on a work trip. Her aunt takes her to the store, and Amanda sees some of the same items that she has back home. Even though she likes that New York has some things that are similar, she misses her hometown. So when we wrote that summary, We went and we thought about what are those big things that happened at the beginning of the story, what are those things that happened at the middle, and then at the end. A summary is not every little single detail of the story, it's just those big main pieces from the beginning, the middle, and the end. Then we wrote a possible theme, so we decided that no matter where you are, home is always best. And then our evidence of that were those last two sentences where she's showing that she's missing her home. Then on page 11, we answered some questions that kind of helped us give evidence, that text evidence right here that helped us understand what the theme or how we came up with the theme. So tomorrow we'll read another story, and this time we're going to read two stories tomorrow, and we'll see what they have in common. For the independent work, we need to make sure that we are keeping up with the reading independent assignment. You're reading this story aloud and answering the comprehension questions. You need to make sure that you're reading the entire story and recording yourself. And then at the end of the week, after you've read the story, you'll be all set to answer those questions. For writing, we went here and we went to adverbs. We went to the cupcake. And we started, let's see, right on page slide 9. So it says Mildred carefully decorated the cake. We looked at that verb, decorated, and then we asked ourselves, how did Mildred, she decorated the cake. How did she decorate the cake? She decorated the cake carefully. The bakery is always busy. When is the bakery busy? Always. So we went through these and we were identifying those different adverbs. All right, so just a reminder, those adverbs, they're describing how, when, or where. All right, so we went through the remainder of those. We stopped on page or slide 26, and then you can exit out of that one. And then in the adverbs worksheet here, you can zoom in and then click the arrow key. Here it says, or we did all the even ones together. So you just click the box where it says type here. And you can erase that and put in your answer. So we did the even together. So you're identifying those adverbs that are describing the how, the when, and the where that action is taking place. So you need to look for the verb. So here the verb is worked. So we're asking, so Dad worked as he hoed the garden. You're asking yourself, how did he work? Or when did he work? Or where did he work? Well, he worked steadily. So that's describing how he worked. So my family and I always wanted to travel to Yellowstone. We did that one. We did number 6, we did number 8, and number 10. And then at the bottom, it says, write a sentence of your own describing how you did something. So I said, I quickly set up my computers this morning. So the verb, I set up my computers. So set up. How did I set up? I set up quickly. So you guys need to do the odd. And then tomorrow we're going to do page 2. So X out of that, and that'll save that for you. Then in science today, we went up here where it says science weather. And we clicked this link here. And this link is not going to work if you're not, like when I try to hit play, it will not start playing if I'm not already logged into my Launchpad. So make sure you're logged into your Launchpad and then it will work. If you need to do it, like open up Launchpad. go to Discovery Education. Here, Discovery Education. And then go back and click it again. And then you should be good to go. Okay, so make sure your Launchpad is logged in too. All right, so we watched that video, and then the video goes with the questions. So there's a video response. Here, this is not on your paper, but make sure you're looking at this because these are the words that you're using. So your word bank is weather, pressure, temperature, wind, and precipitation. So there's 5 questions. A thermometer is used to measure blank. A barometer measures the changes in air blank. Meteorologists are people who study the blank. An anemometer measures blank speed. And rain and snow are different types of blank. So you just click in there and then you can type. Out of that when you're done with that one. This is a 2-part thing, so there's 10 more questions. So there's 15 questions total on this assignment, so make sure you have both. We did the even together. So we said that on a cold winter day in New York, the temperature usually feels very cold. Then the air above us pushing down on us is creating that air pressure. People who study weather are called meteorologists. Anemometer measures the wind speed. And a difference between snow and rain is that rain is a liquid. So we answered those. Then once you have both of those, you can go ahead and turn that in. Then for social studies, we looked at week 19. And this was just one page today. So if you go down to Wednesday, you are looking at why the city of Waterloo, Texas was changed to Austin, Texas, and who was responsible for finding the perfect place for the capital. So click your red dots, move them over your answer, and make sure you read and listen to the article for Wednesday. All right, after that, we had it was probably about an hour. We did some practice with division and multiplication, and then we played a Kahoot game, practicing choosing the right homophone, and that was our day. So thank you for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. Please make sure, we also read a couple chapters in our book. So make sure you are going to eSpark. If you didn't have time today, I'm going to go look and see who logged in and who still has not gotten their placement test done. So make sure you spend some time on that for reading and math. We talked about the importance of filling in those gaps. So you may go through, like I gave an example in 2nd grade, you may have been out for a few days where you had the flu or something and you couldn't come to school. And so your class might have learned something. And then the next year, your teacher might not have realized that you didn't learn that last year. She's going to assume that, you learned all the 2nd grade material, and then you still don't learn it by 4th grade. And then you get to 4th grade and we're over here doing intervals of time and doing all kinds of stuff with time. And you still, you missed the whole lesson on how to read a clock. And so programs like eSpark and things like that, they help fill in those gaps that, sometimes we might just think that, oh, you already know that, but you actually don't. So it helps identify some of those gaps and fill them in so that we can make sure that, you don't have that you have all the information that you were, supposed to learn. So make sure that you are spending time on each of those, reading and for math, and that will help you grow. And that is it. All right. Thanks, guys. See you tomorrow.